There are nearly 20 businesses in GTA Online. This means it can be hard to decide which are really worth spending your valuable time on and which you should avoid in their entirety. In this video, I will go over what I believe are the 5 must grind and the 5 must avoid businesses in GTA Online. With this list, I don't mean to discourage you to use every business and what they have to offer. This is just what I feel are the 5 bottom of the barrel businesses that I would not choose to grind within the game. With that said, let's get to it. The first must grind business on the list is the Kosatka. This may come as a surprise to many after the various nerfs that Cayo Perico has received over the years. More specifically, the latest big nerf, which reduced the 3 most common primary target values by 30% and increased the setup cost from 25 to 100,000. Although this nerf makes the business significantly worse, it's still a top 5 money making method. Even with the worst RNG, you can still make 850,000 from the finale. This will be by getting only cash as secondary targets and tequila as a primary target, with the addition of the wall safe loot only being 20k, which is the lowest possible. But realistically, you won't have 100% bad RNG, which should lead you to make just over $1 million per heist. If mastered and done correctly, it should take you around 45 minutes or less to complete from start to finish. The only downside is that if completed solo, the heist will have a 2.5 hour cooldown, which means you'll probably only have time to do around 2 heists per day. Just make sure you pay and set up the heist less than an hour after the cooldown is over to earn an extra 100k for completing the heist on hard mode. Next up, the first business in the must avoid list is the MC Clubhouse, and what a dreadful business this is. There are 3 different methods to make money with the Clubhouse. The first method is the MC wall contracts. These are small free mode missions that usually take 5 minutes to complete and pay around 35k each. You can complete different contracts without a cooldown, but you'll have to wait a 10-minute cooldown to complete the same contract again. These are pretty much a worse payphone hit that take a bit longer and pay less. Another method is the bar resupply missions. For this one, you'll be tasked to recover a van filled with bar supplies. Once returned, it will grant you 10k and an additional 25k subsequently. After 4 real life hours, the bar will need to be resupplied again. This essentially means that for 5 minutes of work, you'll make 35k, which again isn't up to par with most businesses nowadays. The final method is the bike delivery service. Every hour or so, a bike will spawn in your clubhouse, which needs to be customized and delivered to a customer for 50k. This is a more decent and useful method. The only problem is that a 500k bike shop upgrade is required, and there is a glitch that leads to bikes never spawning, which makes you have to buy a whole new clubhouse and the bike shop all over again. Overall, I'd only use this business for the bike storage and to own the 5 other MC businesses. The second most owned business on the list is the Asset Lab, and this has to be the easiest business to maintain in the whole game. To purchase supplies, you can just call him up from your phone and he will start generating product once they arrive. You can also head to your Asset Lab and boost your production speed once a day for an hour. To maximize efficiency, you'll need to have the equipment upgrade, which can be unlocked and purchased for 237,000 after completing 10 Fooligan jobs for Dax. This will increase your overall product stock value by an extra 100k for every future sale you complete. With these 2 prerequisites, you can fully stock up an Asset Lab after only 3 hours of being in an active session, meaning you can reliably sell your Asset Lab stock once per day. The payouts with the equipment upgrade are 350,000 in an invite only session and 500,000 in a mostly full public session due to the high demand bonus. I do recommend selling your stock in a public session, as these sell missions can be done quickly and don't run you as much of a risk as other business sell missions do. Another business I would avoid is a document forgery. I think most people know that this is the worst business in all of GTA Online. First, to properly run it, you'll need to spend over 2 million in the business and upgrades alone. Then you'll need to purchase 75k worth of supplies every time you want to generate product. Plus, you will also need to watch out for business raids that can put your stock in danger. After doing all of this, you will be able to sell your document forgery stock, which has a chance of giving you 4 sell vehicles for a miserable amount of 240k if sold in a public session. To put this into perspective, you can make the same amount of money after 5 hours of passively waiting for your Nightclub safe money to accumulate. The sole reason I would even consider owning this business is for the Nightclub printing and copying stock, which requires you to own this business in order for it to generate. Otherwise, I'd avoid at all costs. Speaking of the Nightclub, this one is also in the must grind list. This is the definition of a passive business, as to generate stock, you don't even need to purchase supplies. Just make sure your technicians are working on a product. For a fully stocked sale in a public session, you can make over 2.8 million for each sale, and it will always give you 1 sale vehicle, which definitely gives solo players a big relief. The daily safe is also another amazing money making method. Every 48 minutes, your safe will passively generate 50k for you to collect. To make sure you're always receiving the 50k, make sure your Nightclub popularity level is maxed. This is achieved by either kicking out troublemakers or simply reassigning different DJs to your Nightclub. This will cost you, but it's still big profits. Going back to a business that I would avoid, we have the grass farm. I understand that this is nowhere near as bad as the document forgery, but it is the second worst MC business, so it does fit the list. For a sale in a full public session, you can earn around 450,000, which of course is a lot more than the 240,000 of the forgery office, but it still falls short when compared to the rest of the businesses in the game. Now back to another must grind business, we have the auto shop. The way to make good money with it is the board contracts. There are 8 different contracts, but the best and most profitable one is the Union Depository contract. It usually takes around 30 minutes and pays 270k during the finale. The best thing about the auto shop is that after completing a contract, you can head back and complete another contract on the board without a cooldown. Of course, you cannot complete the same contract back to back. You will have to wait a 1-hour cooldown, but you can complete any other contract without one. You can also customize and deliver vehicles for customers. Depending on the vehicle type, you can make between 20 to 40,000 for each delivery. They usually spawn every 30 minutes or so and can be delivered by one of your staff members. But that of course means you'll get paid a bit less as a sort of service fee. Next up, one that seems too early to say, but yet another business out of void, is the bail office. This business is the newest one in the game, yet seems so outdated that it feels like a business that would have been released years ago. To make money, you have 2 options. The first option are the daily and normal bounties. The daily bounty can only be done once a day and will pay you around 130,000. Personally, I think you should be able to do 3 of these bounties a day with a 2-hour cooldown in between, since they are pretty quick to complete. Then you can also complete 3 smaller bounties that have a shorter cooldown time, but they only pay 30 to 40k for each one. You can also send your bail enforcement agents on duty, and after an hour they will return with around 20k for your safe. This is passive, but you do have to pay 1.5 million to purchase them as an upgrade. This business is basically a worse and more expensive version of the agency. Speaking of the agency, this is the #1 must-own business on my list. There are 3 top-tier money-making methods within this business. The first one is a Dr. Dre contract. It usually takes the average player just over an hour to complete and will earn you a full million at the end. There are also security contracts you can do. These are basically the same as the MC contracts, but pay double the amount. You can make as much as 70k if you complete a contract in Specialist Plus difficulty. And of course, you can also do payphone hits, which were nerfed earlier this year. At least to me, they seemed like a nerf, as it reduced the pay from 85 to 45,000, but decreased the cooldown time from 48 to only 10 minutes. Overall, this is the most complete and best business in the game. And finally, a more decent business but still on the must avoid list, we have the Hangar. Now hear me out. The Hangar can make you millions, but the problem is the way to get there. To make the most money possible, you'll need to collect 50 of the same crate type. After completing a source mission, there will be a 5-minute cooldown before you can source the same crate again, meaning it will take you hours of waiting to fill up a Hangar, especially with 50 of the same crate. More than a bad business, this is just one that at this stage of the game, and considering how boring it is to grind these crates, I wouldn't recommend anyone spend their time on it. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite business in GTA Online. Thanks for watching. See you.